You open your eyes, and something feels off. The air is smoky, the mattress is gone. You're lying on straw. Outside, a rooster crows. You're not in the 21st century anymore. You open your eyes. The ceiling is wrong. It's not painted or plastered or lit with a soft bulb. It's made of dark wooden beams, thick with cobwebs, slanted slightly, as though it was built by hand, and not very carefully. There's a draft coming through the cracks in the wall. Cold air tickles your face. You shiver. You reach for your blanket, but it's not your blanket. It's rough, coarse. Wool, maybe, heavy and scratchy and smelling faintly of smoke, and something you can't quite place, like wet earth and old bread. You sit up slowly. The mattress isn't a mattress, it's straw. Real straw packed inside a cloth sack. It rustles beneath you as you move. A few stalks poke through the seams and prick your skin. You look around. The room is dim. Sunlight creeps through the slits in the wooden walls, faint and filtered through morning mist. You're in a one-room cottage. No door to a bathroom, no carpet, just dirt. The floor is packed earth, dark and uneven. Your boots sit beside the bed, worn leather, stiff and cracked. One of them leans slightly to the side. There are no socks. A sound reaches your ears. Distant, but familiar. A rooster. You blink. You aren't in the 21st century anymore. You aren't in your room, your city, your time. Somehow, through dream or twist of fate, you've gone backwards, far backwards, hundreds of years, to a world without screens or switches, wires or engines. You've woken up in the Middle Ages. The smell of smoke is stronger now. You notice the hearth, a small stone fireplace against the far wall. It's cold. Dead ashes sit in the pit. A pot hangs over the coals, empty. A few wooden bowls rest on a table beside it. No plastic, no metal, just wood, iron, and clay. You run your fingers over the blanket again, grounding yourself. It's real. This is real, or it feels that way. You stand. Your knees ache a little. The air is chillier than it should be. You step carefully, the floor cold on your feet, and move toward the small window. There's no glass, just a wooden shutter that's been propped open. Outside, you see the village. Thatched roofs, muddy paths, a wooden cart tipped to the side, chickens scratching the dirt. A woman carries a bundle of sticks. A dog limps past. A child, barefoot and red-cheeked, runs by, laughing at nothing at all. You feel like a ghost watching it all, but you're not a ghost. You're part of this now, and your stomach growls. There's no kitchen here, no fridge, no coffee brewing in the corner. You find a small cloth bag hanging from a wooden peg on the wall. Inside, bread, stale, dark, and dense. You tear off a piece. It's tough, chewy, but it's food. You chew in silence, sitting on the edge of the straw-stuffed bed. Your hands feel rougher than usual. Your nails have dirt under them. Your tunic, yes, you're wearing a tunic, is a simple brown wool garment tied at the waist with a bit of cord. Your legs are wrapped in coarse cloth. No elastic, no zippers, just layers of woven fabric. You step outside. The mud squelches under your feet. The air is heavy with mist and the scent of smoke and dung. Everything feels close to the ground, like the whole village is made to be low and quiet. You take a few cautious steps down the path. A man nods at you, walking past with a pitchfork slung over his shoulder. He doesn't question who you are. He seems to expect you. You're one of them? A bell tolls in the distance. Church bells. Their slow, echoing rhythm floats through the air like a song you used to know but haven't heard in years. You walk past a blacksmith's forge. The fire hasn't started yet, but tools hang on the wall. Hammers, tongs, horseshoes. The shop smells of iron and soot. Nearby, a woman sweeps the dirt outside her home. Not the floor, the dirt. She's brushing the dust off of the dust. A group of children gathers around a man with a wooden flute. He plays a slow tune. No words, just melody. One girl claps her hands softly in time. You follow the path out of the village. The road is little more than 2 wagon ruts, packed hard by generations of feet and hooves. Trees line the sides, tall and thin, their branches still bare from winter. Birds call out from above. A raven watches you from a fence post. Farther on, you spot the fields, long rows of dark, turned earth. A man in a hood guides an ox, pulling a wooden plow through the soil. The pace is slow, methodical. Behind him, a younger boy follows with a sack of seeds, scattering them by hand. It's quiet here, not silent. The world is never truly silent, but quiet in the way old forests are. The kind of quiet that makes you aware of your breath, your heartbeat, the sound of your own footsteps. You crouch down, running your fingers through the soil. It's cold, damp, full of roots and small stones. The wooden scoop is carved by hand, smoothed by years of use. You fill a bowl with barley and carry it to the chicken coop. They gather quickly, pecking, clucking, fighting for space. Next, the goat. She bleats at you as you approach, tied near a post beside a trough. Her eyes are watchful, her breath steaming in the cold. You crouch beside her, hands stiff with morning chill, and begin to milk. The rhythm is slow, steady. The milk squirts into a clay jar. It's warm. It smells fresh and sweet, laced with the scent of grass and hay. A dog barks in the distance. The village is waking up. You glance up and see smoke rising from other chimneys. The faint sound of metal striking metal. The blacksmith beginning his day. A woman sweeps outside her home with a bundle of reeds tied together. A boy chases a goose down a narrow alley. Everyone has their role. You fetch water next. There's no tap, no faucet. The stream lies at the edge of the village, a narrow ribbon of water winding through the trees. You carry 2 wooden buckets balanced on a pole across your shoulders. The path is muddy, uneven. Stones slip beneath your feet. Your boots are soaked now. The water is cold, clear, flowing gently over smooth stones. You crouch down, scoop it up, and fill both buckets. The weight is immediate. Your shoulders strain as you turn and begin the walk back. There's no shortcut. You step carefully, 1 foot after the other, mindful not to spill. By the time you return, your hands are red and aching. You set the buckets down with a grunt beside the hearth. The cottage smells of smoke and warm milk now. Inside, your family is seated near the fire. The children whisper to one another. The older woman, the matron of the house, adds chopped onion to a pot. The scent rises, sharp and sweet. You sit by the door for a moment, breathing in the warmth, watching the fire crackle, listening to the morning settle into its rhythm. There's still so much to do. The fields wait. The ox must be led out. Fences must be checked. Tools need sharpening. But for now, in this moment, you sit still. Outside, the sun crests over the hills, bathing the village in light. It glints off the wet roofs, sparkles and puddles, warms the sides of cottages, still heavy with dew. There is no hurry. There is no clock to chase, just work and rhythm and survival. And somehow, in the midst of it all, a strange calm. Because this is life, real, raw, and rooted deep in the earth. You're not just passing through. You belong here now. You rise from the bench near the hearth, still warm from your short rest. The sun is climbing now, not high, but enough to cast golden light through the open doorway. It spills across the dirt floor, catching the rough edges of baskets, tools, and the seams in your boots. The morning has truly begun, and so has the work. Outside, the air has shifted. The chill of dawn has given way to something softer. It's still cool, but there's a gentle warmth coming with the light. Birds chirp from the trees near the edge of the village, their songs weaving through the air like threads in a tapestry. You step into the courtyard again. Your hands are still sore from carrying water, and your arms feel the ache of the buckets. But there's more to do, much more. Living in a medieval village means living with the land, not on top of it, not removed from it. Your body answers to the rhythms of the earth, the sun, the rain, the soil. Every bite of food, every breath of air, every piece of warmth or shelter is something earned by labor, by presence. The chickens scatter again as you pass. One of them flaps up onto a fence post and squawks at you as if reminding you she needs more feed. You smile, tired but amused. You retrieve a handful of barley from the sack near the shed and scatter it across the ground. Their beaks tap eagerly at the soil, searching for each grain. You watch them for a moment, their movements quick and fussy, their feathers shining faintly in the morning sun. The rhythm of their scratching, the soft clucks and rustles, becomes part of the background melody of the village. Then you turn to the goat. She's still tethered near the trough, munching lazily on hay. You approach slowly, speaking gently as you go. She watches you, flicks her ears, and shifts her weight. You crouch down beside her, careful not to startle her. You settle into the familiar position, knees in the straw, hands steady, and begin to milk. The milk comes warm and steady. Your fingers move automatically now, gripping and pulling in rhythm. Each stream hits the side of the clay jug with a soft hiss. The smell of the goat, of straw, of warm milk fills the air around you. It's not unpleasant. It's real. Nearby, a small black cat appears. It winds around your legs, mewing softly. You know her. She belongs to your neighbor, but visits everyone. You give her a quick pat as you finish milking and set the jug carefully beside the door. The next task waits, gathering kindling. The woodpile behind the cottage is low. You grab a bundle of sticks from under the eaves where they've been drying for days. You carry them back to the hearth, stacking them carefully for the midday fire. Later, they'll be used to boil water, to stew cabbage or peas, maybe to toast stale bread. You stop for a moment to catch your breath. There's a quietness to everything, not silence, never silence, but a steady, grounded hush. The rustling of leaves, the distant clang of a blacksmith's hammer, the faint bleating of sheep in a nearby pasture, all of it layered together like soft music. You breathe it in. The village is a small one, maybe 20 cottages, each made of timber and wattle, with thatched roofs and low stone foundations. Gardens bloom in some yards filled with cabbage, beans, leeks, and herbs. Behind others, smoke rises from bread ovens or kilns. You nod to a neighbor, a woman with strong arms and a basket balanced on her hip, as she walks past with freshly picked herbs. You decide to fetch more water, always more water. The buckets are still damp from the last trip, but the sun has dried the worst of the mud from your boots. You swing the yoke across your shoulders again, settle the buckets, and start the walk toward the stream. It's not far. A few minutes down a narrow path between trees and fields. Along the way, you pass a man repairing a fence. He nods. You nod back. A boy runs past, barefoot, carrying a bundle of rushes. His laughter echoes between the hedgerows. The stream glimmers in the morning sun. It moves gently over smooth stones and under low-hanging branches. You crouch at the edge and lower the buckets, letting the cool, clear water fill them slowly. You splash a little on your face again. It feels good. On your way back, you pause by the edge of a fallow field. The soil is dark, freshly turned. You know this land. You've planted here before. Soon, you'll be back, guiding the ox and the plow, laying down rows for barley or rye. Your eyes scan the ground for signs, sprouting weeds, bits of bone or stone that might catch the blade. You notice everything. The land demands it. Back home, you pour the water into a storage barrel near the cottage. Your shoulders ache, but the fire's still going. The children are now awake and chattering quietly. One of them helps set the table, a board across two trestles, with clay bowls and wooden spoons. Your midday meal will be simple. Porridge made from oats and goat's milk. Maybe some onions or herbs if there's time to gather them. Maybe a bit of bacon from a slab hung above the hearth, if it hasn't spoiled. You sit for a moment outside the door. From here, you can see across the entire village. Smoke trails rise in narrow spirals. The chapel bell rings in the distance, marking the time. Somewhere nearby, someone plays a flute, a tune slow and wandering like a breeze. You notice the dirt under your nails, the streaks of ash on your forearm, the ache in your lower back. You shift your weight, adjusting your boots. But you don't complain. This is the life. To live with the land is to live fully in the present. You watch the sky to guess the weather. You feel the soil to know if it's time to plant. You smell the air and taste the water and listen to the wind. Nature doesn't just surround you. It holds you, feeds you, pushes and pulls you like the tides. And it humbles you, because no matter how strong or clever or hard-working you are, the land always decides. Storms can flood your fields, droughts can kill your crops. A harsh frost in May can undo a season's work, and yet you keep going, because there's no other way. You don't work for comfort, you work for survival, for a roof that doesn't leak, for food that doesn't run out, for a life that continues. Still, there is peace in it, peace in rhythm, peace in repetition, in doing what your parents did and their parents before them, in knowing your place, not as ruler, but as part of something ancient, something eternal. The sun rises a bit higher, a rooster crows again, late to the game. A horse trots by, pulling a cart of hay. The day is stretching ahead now, long and full. You stand, dust off your tunic, pick up your tools. There's still the herb garden to weed, the coop to mend, the path to clear. But for now, you're caught in a moment of quiet understanding. You're not just visiting this world anymore. You're a part of it. The air feels different today, thicker somehow, heavier. It's not just the mist clinging to the village path or the low clouds rolling over the fields. There's a weight in the silence, a sense that something has changed. You wake earlier than usual, even though your body begs for more sleep. Your dreams were uneasy, and now that you're awake, the unease has followed you. The straw beneath your blanket is damp. The hearth is cold, and there's a strange stillness outside, the kind that presses against your chest. Quiet, but suffocating. When you step outside, the morning smells are wrong. The usual earthy scent of dew and livestock is mixed with something sharper, a hint of rot, of something spoiled. You see a neighbor's cottage door cracked open, but no smoke rises from their chimney. That's unusual. You cross the yard and notice a child sitting in the mud, listless, not playing. His head rests against his knees. His mother stands nearby, her arms folded tightly, eyes fixed on nothing. She doesn't greet you, you don't greet her. In a village as small as yours, you feel changes instantly. By midday, word spreads, not through announcements or bells, but through whispers. One of the older women in the village fell ill yesterday, fever, sweats. She's not waking now. Another child, too weak to stand, a man coughing blood near the church wall. It spreads fast, not just the sickness, but the fear. You hear someone mutter the word curse. Another says punishment. You don't say anything. You just keep your head down and walk to the stream, buckets in hand, trying to hold on to some piece of routine. The healer arrives later, wrapped in her usual layers of shawls, a satchel slung across her shoulder. She walks slowly, her eyes scanning each doorway as she passes. People part the way for her, but don't speak. She goes first to the sick woman's cottage, and the door closes behind her. You hear stories from others. Stories that she burned dried sage and mugwort to cleanse the air. That she gave the sick girl a tea made of yarrow and willow bark. That she asked for clean cloths and warm broth if anyone could spare it. She's doing what she can, but no one knows what's wrong. No one ever does. This isn't the first illness to sweep through your village. It likely won't be the last. Sometimes it's a cough that won't go away. Other times, a fever that burns through families like fire through dry grass. Once, years ago, it was worse. Black spots on the skin, swelling in the neck, people dying within days. You were young then. You still remember the screaming. This time, it's quieter. But that makes it worse somehow, because it creeps in slowly, and you don't know who's next. You fetch water, you boil it, you mop the floor, you wipe your brother's face with a damp cloth and feel the heat rising from his skin. You hold your breath as he coughs. You try not to wonder if it's just a cold or something else. That night, the priest visits. He wears his dark robes and carries a book bound in cracked leather. He walks with his head bowed and mutters prayers beneath his breath. When he enters a home, he speaks the rites. He places a hand on the foreheads of the sick. He lights candles and sprinkles water. You don't understand all the Latin words, but you listen anyway. It feels safer to listen. Some people cling to faith. Others avoid the chapel entirely. Some whisper about sin, about wrath, about the end of days. But most just keep working, because there's no time to stop. The goats still need feeding. The crops won't wait. The roofs still leak. You help tend the fire while your mother boils another pot of water. You tear old cloth into strips just in case. The village has no doctor, no apothecary. No one from the outside will come to help. You are your own cure, your own defense, or your own victim. One of the younger boys in the village dies during the night. You hear the wailing through the darkness. It cuts through the air like a blade. Everyone knows who it is. You don't ask. You don't need to. By morning, the bell at the chapel tolls once, then again, slow, dull. The sound moves through the village like a cold wind. They bury him at the edge of the cemetery. No coffin, just a shroud. The priest speaks, but his voice is tired. His hands shake. The boy's father doesn't cry. He just stares. You help dig the grave. The soil is wet and heavy. The spade blisters your palms. But you keep going. You don't speak. No one does. The healer gives you a sprig of rosemary to hang by your door. It keeps the air sweet, she says. You thank her. You don't believe it will help. But you hang it anyway. That night, you sit by the fire, your family close, silent. Your brother's fever has broken. For now, you hold his hand while he sleeps. You count each breath. Outside, the wind has picked up. It whistles through the gaps in the shutters. Somewhere nearby, a dog howls. You remember what the healer told you when you were young. Sickness is a shadow. It touches everyone eventually. The strong, the weak, the rich, the poor. Don't fear it. Just stay ready. You're not ready, but you keep going. The next day, fewer people leave their cottages. The blacksmith doesn't light his forge. The children don't play. The streets feel hollow, empty, like the village is holding its breath. You help your mother wash clothes in the stream. You scrub so hard your fingers crack. You hang the wet linens over the fence and hope the sunlight will burn away whatever illness they might carry. You try not to touch your face. You try not to notice the neighbor's window that stayed shut for 2 days. You try not to think about what would happen if your parents fell ill, or your sister, or you. The priest says another prayer at sundown. This time, the whole village gathers, even those who don't usually go. The candles glow against the stone walls. The chapel smells of smoke and sweat and tallow. He speaks softly. We are not abandoned, he says. We are being tested. No one says amen. You walk home in silence, your footsteps crunching softly on gravel. The moon hangs low in the sky, big and pale, like a lid half closed. You watch your breath fog in the air. It's colder tonight. The frost will return soon. You wonder how many more nights like this will come. Back at the cottage, you close the shutters tight. You wrap yourself in a blanket and settle beside your brother. His skin is cool now. His breathing is even. He stirs, then settles again. You close your eyes. You hear a cough from the next room. Just one. You pray it was nothing. You fall asleep with the rosemary still hanging by the door. You dream of warm summers, of clear skies and full baskets, of laughter in the streets, of a time when sickness was just a word. But when you wake up, it's still here. The village hasn't changed. The silence is still deep. The healer is still moving from door to door. The priest is still praying. And you're still hoping. Because that's what you do here. You live, you endure, you hope. And sometimes that's enough. The day is finally over. Your body feels like it's been carved from stone, heavy, aching, spent. Your hands are raw from rope and water. Your legs burn from walking miles across muddy paths. Your shoulders are sore from carrying more than your share. But none of that matters now, because the chores are done. The sun has gone down behind the hills, and inside the cottage, a quiet warmth has taken its place. The fire is already lit when you step inside. A slow, crackling glow rises from the hearth, casting dancing shadows along the low wooden beams above your head. It smells of smoke and ash and something sweet. Roasted root vegetables, maybe. A humble stew if you're lucky. Everyone's here. Your father sitting near the fire, boots off, legs stretched. Your mother beside him, bent over a woven basket, mending a shirt. Your sister, sitting cross-legged with a bundle of wool in her lap, humming under her breath. The little ones leaning against the wall, tired but too stubborn to sleep just yet. And you. You sit near the fire and feel its heat seep into your bones. Your cheeks flush from the warmth. Your toes thaw slowly inside your worn socks. The weight of the day is still on your shoulders, but the stillness helps you forget, at least for now. Supper is simple. A few slices of coarse bread, a bowl of warm lentils or cabbage stew passed hand to hand. If there's any fat or meat left from the week, it's added in small pieces, just enough for flavor. Everyone eats slowly, carefully, not because of manners, but because there isn't much. It must last. You chew in silence for a while, listening to the soft clink of wooden spoons, the creak of the floorboards, the pop of the fire. It's quiet, but not the empty kind. It's the kind of quiet that wraps around you like a blanket. After supper, someone reaches for the lute. It's old, a bit cracked, missing a string, but it still plays, barely. Your older brother plucks at it, humming softly as he tunes it by ear. Then, without a word, he starts to play a tune. Slow and simple, you recognize it. Everyone does. It's the same lullaby your mother used to sing when you were small. The melody winds its way through the room like smoke. And just like that, the whole cottage feels like it's breathing, slow, deep, and calm. Then come the stories. It's tradition. When the chores are done and bellies are warm, stories fill the room. Sometimes they're tales of saints and miracles, passed down from the chapel. Other times, they're about strange creatures in the forest, or ghostly lights in the marsh, or brave knights who once rode through these very hills. Tonight, your grandfather speaks. His voice is rough with age, but steady. He leans forward, eyes catching the firelight as he begins. Long ago, he says, there was a young farmer who dreamed of the sea. You've heard the tale before 100 times, but you listen anyway. The children huddle closer. Your sister puts aside her wool. Even your father leans in, eyes half closed. In the story, the farmer builds a boat from old timber. Everyone laughs at him, but he sails anyway, across rivers and swamps and lakes, until he finds a kingdom beneath the waves. There, the fish speak, and the king rides a silver eel. There's a trial, a storm, a treasure chest, and finally, a journey home. It's ridiculous, magical, impossible, but that's the point. In a world where every day is built from labor and mud, stories are more than entertainment. They're escape, they're hope, they're little moments of magic in a life that rarely offers any. When your grandfather finishes, there's silence again, a pause. Then your brother plays another song. This one's livelier, a tune from the Harvest Festival. Your sister claps along. The little ones get up and dance, their bare feet thudding against the floor. For a moment, just a moment, the worries vanish. No one's thinking about the sickness still whispering through the village. No one's worried about the Lord's tax due next week. No one's afraid of what might happen if the frost comes too early. Right now, you're all just here, together. The fire burns low. Your mother brings out a tiny tin of honey saved from last winter. She drizzles a little onto bread, just enough for a taste. It's the sweetest thing you've had in weeks. It melts on your tongue and sticks to your fingers. You lick it clean, slow and careful, savoring every drop. Outside, the wind howls gently through the trees. The shutters rattle. A dog barks far away. The sounds of the village fade into the night. Someone yawns. Your sister wraps a shawl around her shoulders and begins to sweep the crumbs from the floor. Your father stands and stretches, joints cracking in the quiet. The children curl up near the fire, eyelids drooping. You move to your spot, a patch of straw near the hearth. Your blanket is scratchy. Your pillow is nothing more than bundled rags. But it's warm, familiar. Your mother tucks a cloth around your youngest brother, kisses his forehead. She hums the same tune from earlier, the one about the stars watching while you sleep. The last log collapses into a pile of glowing embers. Orange light flickers on the wooden walls. Shadows stretch and shrink. Someone snores gently. The air smells like soot and wool and skin and bread. You lie on your side and face the fire. Your body still aches. Your hands are rough. Your future is uncertain. But for now you feel peace. Peace in the rhythm of the day, in the presence of family, in the soft hum of an old song echoing in your memory, in the quiet strength of being together. The world outside is harsh, cold, unforgiving. But here, in this small wooden cottage, under this thatched roof wrapped in firelight and silence, it feels bearable. It feels almost safe. Your eyes drift closed. You dream of warm summer fields, of feasts after harvest, of music and dancing, of nights just like this one, where everything is simple, where everything makes sense. The Middle Ages weren't kind, they weren't easy, they weren't romantic, but in moments like this, around the fire, surrounded by the people you loved, they held something timeless, something soft, something human. You lie back slowly, letting that scratchy wool blanket fall over your shoulders. The straw beneath you shifts as your weight settles in. It's not soft, it never is, but your tired bones hardly notice. The aches of the day have caught up to you, threading through your back, your arms, your legs. But that's all right. The pain is expected, familiar, honest. The fire is dying. Only a few glowing embers remain now, nestled in the ash like distant stars. Their faint warmth reaches across the room, just enough to paint the wooden beams with long, flickering shadows. You watch as they move, slow, then still, then gone. Your eyes begin to close, but your mind doesn't sleep yet. It wanders, it moves backward through the hours. The weight of a water bucket on your shoulder, the sound of hooves in the mud, the rustle of dry hay in your arms, a blacksmith's hammer, a child's laugh, the scent of stew and smoke. They all rise again, not as memories, but as sensations. They feel close, real, as if the day is still reaching for you, refusing to let go just yet. You take a slow breath. The air is cool now, and the shutters rattle softly in the wind. Somewhere outside, a dog barks once, a cartwheel creaks in the distance, then nothing, just quiet. The kind of deep, full silence only found in places far from the rush of machines and the hum of electricity. This is a different world. No glowing screens, no humming lights, no engines or alerts or alarms, just breath and wind and wood, just the sound of the world sleeping around you, and you here, caught between waking and dreaming. Your thoughts drift back to the morning, to the moment your eyes opened and you realized the bed was gone. No soft sheets, no phone, just straw and cold air and the distant cry of a rooster, that strange sense of displacement, that moment of confusion, and then surrender. You had no choice but to live it, and somehow you did. You stepped into a life not your own, a time far from your own. You hauled water, you worked the land, you ate bread that broke at your hands. You spoke few words, but heard many stories. You felt the shape of life here, narrow, heavy, hard, but also grounded, quiet, rooted. You saw how the sun ruled everything, how it dictated when to rise, when to eat, when to work, when to sleep, You saw how people bent their lives around the land, not the other way around. How a patch of wheat could mean survival. How a single goat could feed a family. How small things mattered. You saw suffering too. You watched illness slip from door to door like a shadow. You heard the whispers of fear. You dug the earth to bury the fallen. You brought water to the sick. You stood in prayer beside your neighbors, not knowing if it would be enough. But you also saw the firelight. You saw bread shared between tired hands. You saw grandfather tell a story that made children smile. You saw music pull laughter out of thin air. You saw warmth, not from blankets or furnaces, but from people, from presence, from being close, together, after a long, hard day. These are the things that stay with you now as sleep hovers just above your eyes. You think about how different everything feels. In your real life, the one you left behind, or the one waiting for you after you wake. Comfort is easy. Food is abundant. Light comes with a switch. Water comes from a tap. Illness is studied, named, cured. But something is lost, too. Time slips by faster. Moments blur. The connection between action and survival is thinner. You eat without thinking. You move without noticing. You live without touching the bones of the day. Here, though, in this cold, hard cottage, everything matters. Every breath, every hour, every fire, every spoonful of food. There's no space for excess. There's only what is needed, and often not even that. And yet, in that lack, you found meaning. You felt it in your muscles as you worked the soil, in the weight of the pail filled with icy stream water, in the crackle of the fire you helped build, in the ache of your hands and the sound of a sibling's voice beside you, in every small task that made the next breath possible. You realize that sleep here is different too. It doesn't come with schedules or routines or reminders. It doesn't follow a bedtime or a battery life. It arrives with exhaustion, with the closing of a day full of motion and labor and effort. It comes as a reward, as relief. And now it begins to take you. Your thoughts grow slower, heavier. The straw beneath you rustles one last time as you shift. The blanket clings to your chest. Your breathing deepens. The aches of the day, once sharp, now soften into something distant, like echoes of a world already fading. But before you let go completely, a part of you lingers. It wants to remember, not just the facts of the day or the bread, the ox, the chapel, but the feeling of it, the stillness, the simplicity, the closeness of life, the raw, unfiltered reality of it all. You know you'll return to your own time soon, maybe when you wake, maybe later. This world, after all, was never meant to be permanent. But you want to carry something with you, a reminder that life doesn't have to be fast, that comfort isn't everything, that meaning can live in small moments, that even in a world of illness, labor, and darkness, people still gathered around fires to sing and eat and tell stories. People still hoped. You think of the villagers now, all asleep in their own cottages, some sick, some well, some dreaming of better days, some just thankful to have survived another. You think of the castle on the hill, distant, cold, still standing perhaps, its torches flickering behind stone walls. You think of the fields waiting for a seed, of the sky heavy with stars, of the earth always beneath you. And you think of yourself, not as a visitor, but as someone who lived it, someone who made it through a medieval day, a day of hunger, heat, labor, and fear, a day of prayer, song, laughter, and firelight. Your eyelids finally close. The wind continues outside, brushing against the shutters. The last ember in the hearth fades to black. The cottage is still. The village sleeps, and so do you. You've walked a road few today will ever walk. You've lived a rhythm that's all but vanished. You've seen the world through eyes that never looked beyond the horizon and found something profound in their simplicity. You're not just sleeping now, you're drifting, not just through dreams, but through time, and somewhere in that quiet stretch between yesterday and tomorrow, between memory and imagination, between history and sleep, you carry the Middle Ages with you. Good night, traveler of time.